washed away. This editorial highlights how climate change drives early marriage of girls in Pakistan. A troubling trend is emerging in Pakistan. Young girls in flood-prone areas are increasingly being married off before the seasonal rains arrive. Troubling trend means a concerning pattern. Flood-prone areas means regions frequently affected by floods. Married off is an idiomatic expression meaning forced into marriage. This sentence means that an alarming pattern is unfolding where young girls in flood-affected regions are being forced into early marriage before the rains. The monsoon brides are not just victims of tradition, but of poverty and the worsening effects of climate change. Monsoon brides is a metaphorical term referring to girls married off during the monsoon season. Victims of tradition means harmed by long-standing customs. Worsening effects of climate change means increasing negative impacts due to global warming. This sentence means that these early marriages result from both outdated customs and the compounded effects of poverty and climate change. Pakistan has the 6th highest number of child marriages globally. This sentence means that, internationally, Pakistan ranks very high in the incidence of child marriage. The climate crisis is only exacerbating this issue. Exacerbating means making worse. This sentence means that the ongoing climate crisis intensifies the problem of child marriage. As floods devastate homes and livelihoods, families facing economic desperation turn to early marriage as a survival strategy. Devastate means destroy completely. Economic desperation means extreme financial hardship. Survival strategy is an idiom meaning a method adopted to cope with harsh conditions. This sentence means that when floods destroy homes and incomes, families, desperate for survival, resort to marrying off their daughters. Instead of offering security, it locks girls into a vicious cycle of poverty, illiteracy, and poor health, robbing them of their futures. Vicious cycle is a metaphor meaning a recurring, destructive pattern. Robbing them of their futures means depriving them of opportunities. This sentence means that early marriage does not secure a better future, but traps girls in continuous disadvantage. A recent UNDP study on climate, politico-economic stressors, and their impact on gender equity in Pakistan found that in flood-affected areas, girls are 25% more likely to drop out of school and enter early marriage. UNDP stands for United Nations Development Program. Politico-economic stressors means political and economic pressures. Gender equity means fairness between genders. This sentence means that according to a UNDP study, in flood-prone regions, the risk of school dropout and early marriage for girls increases by 25%. Climate-induced displacement and loss of income push families towards desperate coping mechanisms, with child marriage being one of the most harmful. Climate-induced displacement means forced relocation due to climate events. Desperate coping mechanisms means extreme measures taken to survive. This sentence means that as climate change forces families to relocate and lose income, they often resort to child marriage as a harmful survival tactic. This pattern was starkly evident after the 2022 monsoon floods. Starkly evident means clearly and unmistakably visible. This sentence means that the 2022 monsoon floods clearly revealed the surge in early marriages. In Sindh, reports of early marriages surged as families, left with no other means of survival, sought refuge in outdated customs that they believed would provide stability. Surged means increased sharply. Outdated customs means old traditions no longer suited to modern needs. This sentence means that in Sindh, early marriages spiked as desperate families clung to old practices hoping for stability. Instead, these marriages led to higher rates of domestic violence, maternal health risks, and lost educational opportunities, deepening the very poverty families sought to escape. Domestic violence means abuse occurring within the home. Maternal health risks means dangers to the health of mothers. Lost educational opportunities means missed chances to gain education. This sentence means that early marriages further worsen poverty by increasing abuse, health dangers, and educational setbacks. Economic cost means financial loss. This sentence means that child marriage imposes a significant financial burden of about $0.8 billion per year on Pakistan. Early marriage reduces women's earning potential, increases dependency, and strains public services, especially the healthcare system, due to higher maternal and infant mortality rates. Reduces earning potential means limits the ability to earn money. Increases dependency means forces greater reliance on others. Strains public services means places heavy demands on government facilities. This sentence means that early marriage harms economic prospects and public health, leading to higher mortality and dependency. The UNDP Human Development Report underscores that women and girls bear the brunt of climate disasters, as existing gender inequalities limit their access to education, healthcare, and economic opportunities. Underscores means emphasizes. Bear the brunt is an idiomatic expression meaning suffer the most. This sentence means that according to the UNDP report, climate disasters disproportionately impact women and girls due to entrenched gender inequalities. When floods wash away agricultural land and homes, families are often left with no alternative livelihoods, making them more likely to marry off their daughters. Wash away is a phrasal verb meaning destroy or erode. Alternative livelihoods means other ways to earn a living. This sentence means that flood damage to farms and homes forces families to consider child marriage as a last resort. Climate change is forcing girls into early marriage. This sentence means that the worsening effects of climate change are directly increasing the incidence of early marriage. Legal gaps. Why laws are not enough. Despite existing laws against child marriage, enforcement remains inconsistent across provinces. Legal gaps means areas where the law fails to protect. This sentence means that although there are laws, their enforcement is uneven across different regions. The legal marriage age must be raised to 18 nationwide, with strict implementation and penalties for violations. This sentence means that to protect children, the marriage age should be uniformly increased to 18 with strict legal consequences. Strengthening birth and marriage registration systems and closing legal loopholes are critical steps to protecting girls. Legal loopholes means gaps in the law that allow circumvention. This sentence means that improving registration systems and eliminating loopholes are essential for safeguarding girls. However, laws alone are not enough. This sentence means that legal measures must be complemented by other initiatives. To effectively combat child marriage, we must address its root causes, climate vulnerability, poverty, and weak governance through coordinated policies and economic reforms. Root causes means underlying factors. This sentence means that comprehensive reforms addressing climate, poverty, and governance are necessary to end child marriage. UNDP's response, building resilience and empowering girls. At UNDP, we are actively working to tackle these challenges. Building resilience means strengthening the ability to recover. Empowering means enabling or giving power to. This sentence means that UNDP is implementing programs to improve livelihoods and empower girls. Our Climate and Gender Vulnerability Index shows that districts most affected by climate shocks, including rural Sindh, Balochistan, and South Punjab, also have higher rates of child marriage. Climate and gender vulnerability. Index is a tool measuring the impact of climate change on gender issues. This sentence means that areas hit hardest by climate events also suffer from more child marriages. To counter this, UNDP is restoring livelihoods through cash for work programs, vocational training, and enterprise development, particularly for women and youth. Cash for work programs means job programs that provide money in exchange for work. Vocational training means skills training for employment. Enterprise development means supporting business growth. This sentence means that UNDP is creating job opportunities and skill development initiatives to reduce the economic pressure that drives child marriage. These efforts help alleviate financial desperation, a key driver of early marriage. Alleviate means reduce. This sentence means that by improving livelihoods, these measures reduce the economic pressure that forces early marriage. Education access is being prioritized, with schools rehabilitated in KP and Balochistan, and plans are underway to restore 60 more in Sindh's flood-affected areas. Rehabilitated means restored to working order. This sentence means that improving access to education is a key focus in areas hit by floods. Our disaster risk management programs are expanding early warning networks to ensure at-risk communities receive timely information about impending climate disasters. Disaster risk management programs mean plans to prepare for and respond to disasters. Early warning networks means systems to alert communities in advance. This sentence means that UNDP is enhancing systems to warn communities about upcoming climate events. Strengthening climate resilience through improved flood forecasting, evacuation plans, and community awareness programs can help reduce the economic devastation that fuels child marriage. Flood forecasting means predicting floods. Evacuation plans means strategies for safe evacuation. This sentence means that better disaster planning can lessen the financial ruin that drives early marriage. Women's participation in disaster response remains below 10 PC. Below 10 PC means less than 10%. This sentence means that very few women are involved in disaster management. Increasing their representation in disaster management bodies is essential for designing crisis responses that protect girls from climate-induced vulnerabilities like child marriage. This sentence means that having more women in disaster management will help create responses that better protect girls. Future of Pakistan's daughters. The monsoon rains will continue to come. This sentence means that monsoon rains, which often cause floods, will persist in the future. But whether they wash away the futures of young girls or whether we step in to protect them depends on the actions taken today. Wash away is a phrasal verb meaning destroy completely. This sentence means that the future of young girls depends on immediate actions to protect them. On this International Women's Day, as we rally behind the theme Accelerate Action, we must recognize that addressing child marriage is not just a moral imperative, but a critical step towards sustainable development. Moral imperative means an ethical necessity. Sustainable development means growth that meets current needs without compromising future generations. This sentence means that ending child marriage is both ethically required and crucial for long-term development. Protecting Pakistan's daughters requires urgent investment in education, economic opportunities, legal protections, and climate resilience. This sentence means that significant investments in various sectors are needed to safeguard girls. By acting now, we can break the cycle of child marriage and ensure that our daughters have the chance to build their own future, no matter the weather. This sentence means that immediate action is needed to stop child marriage and secure a better future for girls, regardless of climate challenges. The writer is a barrister of Lincoln's Inn and an advocate of the High Courts of Pakistan. This sentence means that the author is a qualified lawyer with a prestigious legal background. Published in Dawn, March 8, 2025.